but they don't spend any time on the business. And the successful ones have figured that out. And that's that's the reason for this whole show, is because a lot of artists, and when I say artists, I mean all of us in general, from musician to authors to artists, don't think about our business well enough. And I'm not the best artist. I mean, I'm at a professional level, but I'm certainly not. I know lots of artists much better than I am, but I still can make a living because we treat this like a business and operate it like a business. And that's one of the real secrets. So that's a good transition. So you started teaching, and I know you as a speaker. So tell us how you moved into the speaking area, because I know that incorporates your drum and music as well.
You know, another bit of advice I think I would give to young players, young creative artists, is be willing to take chances and go for opportunities that you might not normally consider. Because this is what's happened to me. Yeah. I'm teaching at this music school, and mostly the gigs I'm doing again are sort of the classical gigs or contemporary music gigs. And the school comes up to me and says, "Listen, we want you to go, and we've got this program called Learning Through the Arts, and we want you to go out there and we want you to teach. We want you to use what you know about music to help kids in the rougher parts of town, help them do math better, help them do science better. Yeah. Use music as a tool." And this program was about using different artists like dancers, musicians, puppeteers, composers, send them into a classroom of kids, and use your art form to help them learn what they need, the curriculum. Yeah. And I went, "What? You want me to do what?" And I thought about it for a while, and I said yes. And I figured out what I was going to do is I'm going to take what I was learning about global percussion and drums from many cultures and use that as my toolbox.
Right.
And again, just being really open-minded and going into a classroom and saying, I remember going into a class and they had to learn about Romeo and Juliet. And it was an English class, in a grade 9 English class, right? And I said, "Okay, well, you know the story," and they kind of knew the story. And I said, "Well, let's make up a soundtrack for it using these instruments." Right. And that was, they went, "Wow, that's kind of cool." And so we kind of developed, well, this section here, the music's going to be like that, and this section is going to be like this. And eventually we built a little piece to go around the play. Well, what that does for them all of a sudden is they've got this piece of music that they can attach to this story now that they're never going to forget.
Right.
And it was a series of projects like that. Sometimes it was about learning ratios in a grade 6 math class.
Wow.
And drumming is great. Drumming is very mathematical. Yeah. So that was a really easy thing that I would do exercises like that. And eventually I started out doing grade 6 and grade 9, but eventually I was doing a whole school of different projects like that. And I was probably doing 150 to 200 of those workshops a year.
Wow. That's a lot.
In some really tough schools. I remember there was a big fight in the lobby the first day I went to school, like blood, and then going like, "Oh my gosh, I've left the Royal Conservatory of Music."
That's right.
But these kids, and there's no corporate audience. I've done a lot of speaking since, but there's no corporate audience tougher than a group of grade 9 kids on a Monday morning.
That's right.
With their arms folded going, "Yeah, right, dude, impress me."
Yeah.
But they loved the drumming, and it was really my way into their world. And we taught each other lots of things. And then the teachers said, "Well, that's kind of cool. Could we do some of that?" Yeah. And then I had friends in the business world who knew what I was doing and said, "Oh, could you bring some of that to the business world?" And I started to talk to them about how I could take what I knew about world music and classical music and help them solve their issues. And their issues were around keyboard.